Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. It's markets in the morning. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the blockchain backer bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Welcome to Markets in the Morning. Today is Wednesday, May 17th, 2023. It's Markets in the Morning, where we took a look at the price action of the stock market and the cryptocurrency market as we get ready to start our day. So typically I'll go through all this stuff, spend about 10, 15 minutes going through what's going on in the markets and in the news. Then we hop into the chat and have a good time. However, it is Wednesday today, so we always like to have a celebration of making it halfway through the week. So we have fun on the channel here on Wednesdays. So happy Wednesday, my dudes.
It is Wednesday, my
Happy Wednesday, my dudes. All right, so let's go ahead and start diving into the action of the markets and what we have been seeing. Obviously, if you have not been on Twitter, probably YouTube videos about it already. Information that came out from Judge Torres yesterday in regards to the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit denying the sealing of documents. So the Hinman documents, Ripple got denied the sealing of some documents as well. We'll briefly touch on that. I actually have already recorded a 20-minute video, so that will be released after the live stream. I still have to finish editing and upload that, but I've done all the recording and everything and done the first round of editing on it. But as for the price action in the cryptocurrency market, Bitcoin still tumbling there, or at least kind of a tumbling morning. See, it's down about $300 here this morning. Half the market in the red, half in the green. Just kind of a mixed morning this morning. One that got a little bit of a pop last night, of course, was XRP, coming off of that news out there in SEC land and Judge Torres land. And John Deaton and XRP, the Standard Productions, held a space last night. I got the opportunity to speak in that and ask John a question. I'll play a portion of that in the video that I do release today. But we saw a price movement in here in the YouTube video I'm putting out. We'll kind of talk about that price action in there, just to kind of show, hey, nothing too crazy out of the norm just yet. But it is, of course, always nice to see some green. Things that we do know is that Bitcoin is sitting on top, or not Bitcoin, excuse me, XRP is sitting on top of the 200-day moving average. Is still continuing to hold it right in there. Those are good signs, but not to let the guard down just yet, as this price action is typical and normal in here. So just kind of keeping that in mind as we have that going on right there. So price action in XRP coming off of the news. The order right in here. This thing is, I think it's 18 pages long. So you have 18 pages in here. We'll go down to the bottom and just read this part real quick. All the way, because this is where the stuff is. All right. So the SEC's motion to seal is denied as to the Hinman speech documents, and granted as to the... I think that's a spelling error. It is a spelling error. Nobody caught that. To the remainder of its requests. You can see remainder down here. That's supposed to say remainder, so the proofreaders did not catch that. The SEC's motion to seal is denied as to the Hinman speech documents and granted as to the remainder of its requests. The defendant's motion, or Ripple's motion to seal, is denied as to references linking Ripple's revenues with XRP sales, the amount of compensation that Ripple offered to trading platforms to list XRP, and the amount of Ripple's XRP sales targeted at investors through programmatic and institutional sales, and as to the names GSR, Bitstamp, Coil Technologies Inc., the XRP Ledger Foundation, and the platforms that publicly make XRP available for trading, and granted as to the remainder. So it was kind of a victory, or a loss for both, I would say, right? So they've got to show they can't hide the stuff they want to hide in the Hinman documents, and Ripple's not going to be able to hide, how much money they're making on XRP sales, how much they paid exchanges to get XRP listed on the platforms, and the amount of sales that were targeted to investors and you have to read this the right way, right? The amount of Ripple's XRP sales targeted at investors through programmatic and institutional sales. So the amount of XRP, the way I interpret this in my discussions with others, the amount of XRP that was sold to like institutions, knowing that it would go to retail investors, such as like discounts, right? Offering to sell XRP to an institution for 35 cents, knowing that the institution would run to the exchange and sell it for 45 cents, something like that, right? So kind of a, win-loss for both, I guess you could say. A lot of people are focused on this because, of course, people want to expose the corruption of the SEC and the double standard and how they're just not honest and truthful. So the Hinman speech documents are not going to be able to be sealed, the things that they wanted sealed in them. I guess that gives a little bit of leverage to Ripple, but also it gives a little bit of leverage to the SEC as well at the same time with all this stuff that Ripple got denied for right in here. So speaking with John Deaton last night, he has the thoughts that, we could see those Hinman documents as soon as today, but others do disagree. Others think it could be weeks, that there could be an appeal process. So we'll just kind of have to sit back patiently and wait on that and see anything to develop further. Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple, did come out and say that the lawyers are working on getting those available as soon as possible. Still no real timeline on exactly when that will be. As for the stock market just opened right now. Dow Jones up 137 points. We'll flip over to this screen right in here. Up 134 points. That's 0.4%. The S&P is up 0.47%. And the NASDAQ is up 0.4%. So looking over here, what do we see? Mixed day, mostly in the green. How's Coinbase doing today? Coinbase is slightly in the red. Yields mixed, short dated up, longer dated down. Metals, looks like you got a mixed day over there in metals. So gold has been pulling back. And this, even though it reached up and got within like $10 or less of the all-time high, again, that bearish divergence on that daily time frame has just gotten even more of a bearish divergence in there. Higher highs, higher lows, but just weaker and weaker and weaker. Definitely not going towards that thing with any amount of strength at all. We talk a lot about gold and the stock market and their kind of inverse correlation with each other when it comes to bull runs. When we're ranging, things can be all over the place, but when it comes to if one is definitively going into a bull run, such as if gold broke out into an all-time high and definitively went into a bull run, that would be a bad omen here for the United States stock market because they they just don't go together. It's one or the other. So kind of an optimistic sign to see gold struggling here, even though we don't have an answer. There's most certainly a bearish divergence emerging up here near these highs, which leaves a little bit more optimism for the Dow to give its shot to try to get through the retracements, even though sketchy as can be here. Sketchy. I'm not going to sit here and predict that it will break through those things right now because we know where we're at. We know we are at. This is 5 waves up. And we're back into retracement levels. Super, super sketchy for the stock market. But when you look at gold, okay, you got a bearish divergence there. If there's some type of optimism to give for the stock market, it would be that, which in the end gives a little bit of optimism for Bitcoin, albeit do not interpret that as me saying stock market's going to all-time high and Bitcoin's going to all-time high. All I'm saying is there's a bearish divergence on gold. It looks like it's not signaling the things you would be looking for it to continue going. It looks like it is stalling out and it looks like it is struggling in here. As for the US dollar currency index, still sitting at these lows. Like I said, typically in these structures, we're going to get this kind of stuff until finally a break comes. When that break comes, my thoughts are going to be looking around that 99 to 100 level. This is where the cryptocurrency bull run took place back in 2020 and 2021. You can see these dates down here. Here's December, right? Bitcoin didn't break out to its all-time high there until mid-December, early December, right there in 2020. We were already almost all the way down here on the DXY before that breakout ever ended up happening in the cryptocurrency market when it went flying. And the whole time period of flying took place down in here. Here's May. It was over, right? So I still think we have that coming, but it doesn't necessarily mean this thing's going to go plummeting all the way down to the ground. Even just stalling out in here, this was our time period of excitement for crypto back in 2020 and 2021. So that's the thing I'm keeping my eye on. As for Bitcoin dominance, it's been a little while since we looked at that. Still just sitting at the top of this range. With it now being May, we entered this range in May of 2021. 2 whole years of bouncing on both sides. 4 times to the bottom side, 4 times to the top side. Still no answer being given in here. Again, I believe there's bearish divergences here at the top of this. You can see that. Whoop. While this has just been kind of hovering here and rolling near the top. So nothing yet, no answers here yet, as we're still now at a full 2 years of in this range for the Bitcoin dominance. As for the economic calendar for today, nothing too huge, especially pertaining to like inflation or crypto or anything like that. You know, we got stuff on housing permits, new builds, and we're going to get stuff on crude oil inventories today. As for the news, the headlines are the same thing that we will expect them to be for the remainder of the month. McCarthy says he thinks the U.S. won't default as debt talks inch forward. Debt limit talks to intensify as Biden set to depart for Japan. Where are you? I know it's here on the front page. Where is it? Right here on CoinDesk. Bitcoin slips below 27K amid debt ceiling talks. So they've got nothing to talk about. They've got nothing to say. It's going to be constantly every day when prices are up. We're going to see optimism about debt. Let's see if they've done that. Right? That's what this is, right? So they're using different wording to say, hey, stock market is up today, right? We're up 139 points. So McCarthy thinks the U.S. won't default as the debt talks inch forward. So won't default, that's optimism of it. But if we have a red day, oh, see, look at this. Look at the very top of the screen. Dow rises more than 100 points on debt ceiling deal hopes. I've told you, man, this is what it's going to be like for days on end every day. Whenever it turns red, Dow falls more than 100 points on debt ceiling worries. That's what this will constantly be. Just ignore it. We just kind of got to get through it for the time being. All right. Target tops earning expectations even as sales barely budge and consumers watch spending. Yesterday was on Home Depot, big miss in Home Depot. That's kind of an ominous sign for retail. Just, yeah. All right. Elon Musk talks Tesla, Twitter, and why he tweets freely even if it costs him money. Okay, cool. Debt limit talk intensifies as Biden set to depart Japan. Wall Street's biggest banks face a harsh reality check from China. U.S. housing starts rise. JP Morgan assets says markets are right to bet on U.S. rate cuts. Okay, so JP Morgan says the markets are correct to be betting on U.S. rate cuts. I'm not so sure about rate cuts. More of like a rate pause is more appropriate. We don't historically just go through the last big 3 hiking cycles that we've had. They are not hike, cut. It is hike, pause, pause. S hits the fan. Cut. That's usually how things go. So I doubt we have rate cuts coming in anytime soon. And until things start hitting the fan, and it's really bad. Otherwise, as for actual crypto news, Ripple buys crypto custody firm Medico for $250 million. I do believe I just saw Brad Garlinghouse tweet about that just a few minutes ago. Blockchain firm Ripple has acquired Swiss-based crypto custody provider Medico for $250 million. The company said in a statement on Wednesday, this purchase will allow Ripple to expand its offerings by incorporating the technology to custody, issue, and settle tokenized assets. Metco offers customers crucial and secure custody infrastructure, allowing institutions to scale new business models in the crypto economy. Okay. Ripple's making moves and acquisitions. Head over here. Watch these Bitcoin price levels as the Bitcoin threatens to lose 27,000 support. Okay, well, it's already lost it. It's at 26,756. Valkyrie leverage Bitcoin futures ETF gets, okay, Telegram addresses camera exploit. Tesla updates AI. Chinese prosecutors crack down on cyto innovation in NFT market. Why is the crypto market down today? Why is XRP price up today? That's what people always want to know, right? So that's the challenge of being in this market, is that Everybody wants a justification for everything in regards to price action, and that it usually has a lot to do more just with underlying stuff. Too many people have sold, too many people have shorted, too much leverage is in the system. The sellers have been exhausted, then it short squeezes back to the upside. There are usually things that happen, and sometimes you get a little catalyst that can kind of get it to break through there that'll automatically trigger everything to end up happening in there. But, we all know we pulled down, we hadn't retraced anything, we get a little bit of good news, we go back into retracements. There's no breakouts here for XRP, so I'm not here to do on anything, but when I was in Las Vegas, how many times I was told just, keep it. One of the things they appreciate most about the channel is just keeping kind of a level head in here. The price action that we saw in here, it's not any type of breakout. It's more of just kind of like a closing the gap of the fall that we've ended up having happen last week. Should we get anything huge to break out of here, maybe we'll have something to talk about. But as for now, you can just kind of see, things are just kind of right in line with where they should be. And to remember that, this document that came out by Judge Torres yesterday, everybody is focused on the Hinman speech documents. There's just not a lot of discussion out there on Twitter about all of that stuff. And that's what the Twitter Spaces last night was with XRP, the Standard Productions, and with John Deaton. That when it was my turn to ask some questions, I said, okay, we're going to bypass this stuff. Let's talk about everything in here about Ripple getting denied. Because this is what we as humans want to see. We feel like we've been wronged by the SEC. We feel like we've been hurt by the SEC, and that they are corrupt and they're crooked and they need to be exposed. But in the end, this doesn't actually pertain to the end result of the case. It's something that we care about, we're passionate about, we're emotions because we feel wronged. We have resentment towards the SEC and we want them to be exposed, but it doesn't impact the case. This is the stuff that impacts the case and impacts the outcome to give us some type of insight into how Judge Torres is thinking right now, Judge Netburn. So this is all the stuff that I thought really mattered, and I'll cover that in a video that I do release later today, hopefully within an hour or two. Otherwise, stock market, a little pop here in the morning. According to CNBC, it's based on debt ceiling optimism. So if we fall tomorrow, we will know the optimism has faded, or if we fall later today, the optimism has faded. Otherwise, good news is we've seen gold pull back. That gives a little bit of optimism for the stock market in general. And we do see equities up a decent amount today. Otherwise, as for crypto, it is just a mixed day out there. But XRP is one of the ones that did end up having a pop. So otherwise, just kind of waiting on Bitcoin. These are still my thoughts that we're not out of the woods yet here on Bitcoin. If we stay here for 2 months, maybe I'll change my mind. But not right now. Not right now. Still just kind of holding out, waiting for something to kind of spook the market in some way. And we know that the debt ceiling stuff is coming up, so we'll see if that has something to play with it. Otherwise, with XRP, cool to see price action, of course, but just kind of keeping it in context of where we really are. But otherwise, that's about it. Stock market up, metals down, crypto mixed, XRP up. Good, perceived good news for XRP, but when you dive deep into it, it's really a mixed bag. We'll cover that more in a video. Nothing much on the economic calendar, and the news out there doesn't really know what to say about anything except to constantly go with the optimism and worry narratives over the debt ceiling. And that's really just kind of what we're all waiting on as well, to see how that thing is going to wrap up in there when we have in June, right? So in June, 2 things will happen. 1, debt ceiling. Will that be resolved? And 2, will the Fed pause? They've given the biggest hints that they're going to pause so far, and they've also met their 75 basis points in 2023 that they said they were going to do. Both of those events should be happening in June. Debt ceiling resolution, or at least we'll know how that's going to go, and Fed pause. And until then, I think the market knows we just kind of got to keep making up this stuff until we get there because the whole narrative is really tied around that. So that's what we're kind of waiting on when it comes to macroeconomic news. As for actual crypto news, there just hasn't really been anything that big outside of the progression happening over here in SEC versus Ripple. So what does all this also say? It says that they've probably already written their summary judgment, or they know how they're going to be ruling in their summary judgment. And this is outlining a lot of the stuff to kind of lay down the groundwork for here it comes. Does here it comes mean in 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months? Don't know. But the groundwork does seem to be getting laid because she makes references in here. Let's see. When she's making rulings in here, she says court's decision on the summary judgment motions. Okay. The court agrees that third-party privacy interests outweigh the presumption of public access to this compensation information. And as to Garlinghouse's compensation, although Garlinghouse is a party to this action, the court finds that both Ripple's business secrecy interest and Garlinghouse's personal privacy interest justify narrowly tailored redactions to his compensation information, which is minimally relevant to the court's decision on the summary judgment motions. So I would think that you would only make this statement in here that the summary judgment motions have already been made and this information was or was not used in that decision. And for that, here is why I choose or choose not to allow this to be sealed. So you can find this type of stuff in multiple places in the court's decision on summary judgment motions. You really wouldn't rule on this stuff unless you already know what you're doing. And so it seems like she probably already does know what they're going to do. So we'll find out soon enough. Andrew Baxter Smith says, hey, I thoughts on the Ledger news. So I'm reading that in the chat right now. Technically, it's a little over my head, and it seems like there's an initial reaction. So if you don't know Ledger, the hardware device is releasing a new subscription service, right? So it's probably if you think of the Ledger business model, their model is just sell devices, sell devices, sell devices. I know that they're trying to sell private equity of their company, right? So I don't know. Can you buy it? Let me see. Yeah. So, right. So if you're an accredited investor, you can buy private equity in Ledger. And likely what they're trying to do, my thoughts are, is their business model is a one and done business model, right? You sell me my Ledger. I put my stuff on it. I throw it, into a mine and bury it in a cave somewhere. And then we don't ever have to do business with each other ever again, right? So while their business goes through lots of swings up and swings down in regards to sales. Like when FTX collapsed, they probably had massive sales. That's not a probably, that's a certainty. They sold a ton, right? But then when we go into really prolonged, boring bear markets and there's not a bunch of new people pouring into the system and there's not a lot of worry about self-custody, their sales probably stink. There's probably big swings up and big swings down, but they need to find some type of normalcy in there. So they found here's what we're going to do. We're going to create this product. It's going to be a subscription-based product, and that way we can keep revenue coming in at all times, and that smooths out those swings up and those swings down a little bit. And so their idea, obviously, was to have a subscription-based model where your private, your seed phrase can be stored by third parties, essentially sharding it into 3 different pieces. Anyway, the internet has gone absolutely nuts over it. Not a fan of it because it goes against everything that Ledger has ever said to not provide your seed phrase to anybody. But just, for them to make some money on some recurring revenue. Well, hey, you know what? Maybe you should. And, this is it just opens up problems everywhere. So there seems to be a big mix on the safety of it or not. Do they have a backdoor to be able to get the seed phrase without access to the device and whatnot? And I'm reading mixed things on it. Some people are saying it's not a big deal. It doesn't compromise your safety. If you choose not to participate, right? I think a lot of people are more worried that well, what if I don't want to do this? Am I at risk that there's some backdoor to be able to get my seed out of the software or a firmware update within Ledger Live? I don't believe so, but this is a highly developing situation, and it's a lot of mixed opinions out there. This type of technological discussion is a little bit above my head, but I am like waiting. I do know a lot of times as a community, we have an initial negative reaction right out the gates, and I'm letting it just kind of play out real quick. Sorry, I have to sneeze. Ugh, and I lost it. Not cool, man. All right. So yeah, I don't really know. I don't really know what to think of it at this point. I'm gonna give it, a couple more days to play out, so the emotional jumping to conclusions can get bypassed, and then we kind of know the true answer. So that's my thoughts. But all right, that's it in the market. It looks like okay. DJI is down to 49 points. Let's see if CNBC, they removed their trade deal optimism stuff. Okay, so Dow rises more than 100 points on debt ceiling deal hopes. Who wants to bet? Will this change the debt ceiling deal worries during the stream? All right. Viewer, Archer. All right, there we go. Jaxer, oh no. Oscar, first out the gates with the frogs all over the place. Hey, you know what, man? What am I doing? We gave the frog in the beginning, but we can't deny it on a Wednesday.
It is Wednesday, my dude. It is Wednesday,
All right, there we go. Hit that, and there we go. Oh, nope. Sorry, can't do it twice. There we go. It's ready for next time. There we go. All right. Happy Wednesday, my guys, my dudes. Oscar Hernandez right out the gates with all the frogs. That's what reminded me of it. Thank you, Oscar. Jeff S. says, love ya, but I thought prices don't move on news. Yeah. Well, you can have a catalyst, but as you can see, we're not breaking out, right? What could you have? You could have news. You could have buyers freak out buying. And then what happens once you break above retracements? You have all the shorts getting liquidated. But was there enough energy for anything big to happen? No. It's not going to change the broader trend with a little bit of news. Mr. Nobody. Hi, BCB. I saw coins like Dash completing a C wave, but when I did an Elliott wave count on XRP, it looks just like an A wave to a 0.5 fib. What do you think? Good luck, counting an A wave in here. This is Wyckoff. So when you say it's just doing an A wave, I'm not sure where you're starting your A wave at. If you're starting way up here back in these time frames, or are you starting here and you're saying that's A, right? I don't think we're going to see A, B, C happen right here. This is the spring phase of a Wyckoff range. So this is more of ranging in here. So you'll count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So likely the most likely thing people will do is go to A, B, C. It's unlikely to happen like that. You could, if you want to, be like A, B, C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Roll back up to wave 4, and then go on and repeat it again. However you want to count it. It's for me, this is spring phase. And the thing that would change that would be if we just continue to hold that 200 week, and if we hold it for like 2 months, we'd have to hold it for quite some time. As we did at 22.5 cents back in 2020. Thank you, Mr. Nobody. Block Fella says, hey, BCB called me Blockzilla yesterday. Did I just call it again? Awesome. Happy Wednesday, my dudes. XRP monthly, 100 MA seems like a good support. Thanks for everything that you teach. Okay, let's see here. I'll throw everything on. I'll hide everything. Yeah, so those have been in there. And it's debatable. Like, I get it. Those happen to be aligning in there at this time. And this is where I'm always like, well, you kind of have to be like, and it's not something I like doing, is where you have to be lenient on things. That's why I hate trend lines. When somebody's primary tool in their technical analysis is trend lines, I will judge you. I will judge you. Totally. And especially when I start seeing stuff like this, where it's like, okay, we have a trend line here, right? If you're going to use the end of the wicks, okay, then we have this kind of like failure, which we talked about at that time, that we'd see a failure happen in here. Anybody wants to go back and find the videos where we talked about that, that's going to be somewhere between March 20th and March 27th that we'd get up here and have a failure. Everybody's going to buy the break of that trend line, and then it's going to turn over on itself. I guarantee there's a video out there between March 20th and I guess it'd be March 20th and April 3rd for XRP, talking about that coming, whether it was markets in the morning or if it was a video. But the problem with trend liners is they will manipulate the chart to be what they want it to be. No, I don't like the way that looks, so I'm only going to use body closes. And if I use body closes, well, then see, it's like this. And I'm telling you, you'll see stuff like this, where people are drawing trends like this. They're drawing them like this. There's just total inconsistency. And it's like, see, I told you this would happen because of this trend line. But the only reason I'm saying this is, for me, the rules have to be like pretty set in stone. The thing with, I guess we need to get all this junk off the screen. The thing with these is, are these really reacting, or are we just kind of getting lucky? And look how deep we're going below and above, and like, I get it. Like, excuse me. We do an okay job, and then we kind of fail here, right? They get above, then get back in and close back in, and it's hard. I would say the thing that is the most stands out the absolute most to me is just merely the repeating of what's happening in here, and that we're kind of doing the exact same thing that we've historically done. That you go back into a retracement, and then you go into reaccumulation. And the fact that in our reaccumulation we've pulled down an identical percentage. I think this one back here was 85.55%, and this one is 85.4%. That they're so insanely similar, and then to have accumulation schematics that are nearly the same. So yeah, I totally agree with you. I'm not trying to be argumentative with you. I'm just pointing out the things that I have hard time with, that whenever I have to be a little bit like, oh yeah, it's kind of close. And well, it did close above it, right? So anybody who is like, I'm going to use this rule of like, if it closes below, I sell. If it closes above, I buy. That you would have kind of gotten impacted both these times. You would have had a close down here in December below the 100 week. And if you sold that, whoop, it went back up. And then when it went above, if you would have bought, whoop, it went back down below. And so it's not behaving completely perfect. But again, the thing I do say from XRP is that it historically doesn't really act super perfect with moving averages. There's very few times where it does. So you could just see it's not really the best at moving averages. There's only a couple of times. And I did reiterate, the only reason we're talking about it in this particular circumstance here for XRP with the 200-day moving average, which we can clearly see, it doesn't respect it all the time, violates it all the time. It's just that we had a similar situation to that back here, where we were underneath it, stuck underneath it. We got the breakout, and then it held. But I'm not putting all my marbles on it, and that's why I said I'm dipping my toes in the water here. I'll take a 10% shot here on XRP at this, but I'm not fully convinced on it, merely because historically, it's not the most reactionary to it. But if we're in a similar situation like the 22.5 time period back in 2020, this did hold. This was the area that did hold in 2020. So moving averages are kind of a nuisance with XRP. But thank you, Block Fella. If you want to be Blockzilla, man, I'm sure I could do that. Jaxer4 says, morning, Dad. Some call me crazy because I say frog instead of Wednesday. Anyways, thanks for the pick-me-up and reassurance. Have a great frog. Thank you, Jaxer. Sick Thinker says, hey, BCB, I didn't get a chance to read into the ledger news. Could you give us a rundown? Also, everybody, hit the like button. That's right, it is Wednesday. I only survive on 1,000 likes on Wednesdays. It's the only way I can make it through the day. Sick Thinker, thank you, sir. And I think I already did cover the ledger stuff, and this was about a half an hour ago that you sent this. So I'm pretty sure I covered it since then. And I know I did cover it since then. So thank you. LJ, hey, BCB, have a great day. 100, raise hands, and then flexed biceps. It's one of my favorite emojis, the flexed bicep. Thank you, LJ. Phantom, first timer. Hey, BCB, thanks for all your hard work. What say you to credible crypto's theory that Bitcoin is going to set a new all-time high? So one thing I never do is I never argue other technical analysis. It's something that I've done building my entire channel, my entire brand, is to never disagree with people or to bring other people's names up. I don't commenting on other people's Twitter posts to posture against people. To each person, they have their own theory. You know what? If I would prefer credible crypto's theory to be right than mine. I'll say that. But you know, to each their own. I respect the guy. Let him. He can do his thing. I'm gonna do mine. We're all good. Obviously, I don't have to posture against anybody. I just present my case. So, you know my case. You know his case. Everybody can make their own decision. That's it. Thank you, Phantom. John DeJean. Is that a winking? Yeah, that's a winking smiley face. Thank you. Oscar comes out, says, simple way to show support and appreciation is by hitting the like for the frog. Yes. Digital Dunce. Cool frogs. Ribbit like. BCB, sorry, bro. Yesterday from CoinMarketCap, it said Namecoin up 10%. It was only up 3 to 4%. Funny when you got worried. Please accept my apology. Okay, I thought so, dude. I thought it was up only like 3 or 4%. Thank you, Digital Dunce. Miguel de Groot said, could you take a look at Ace? Oh, hold on. I don't know what this is. It's on Coinbase. So, I mean, it looks like every other... Let me see what the volume is on this. So I'm not, like, showing something that is, like, volumeless. How much volume is that? How much daily volume is that? 96,874 times 0.0269. So it's got about $2.5 million of daily volume. It's not a tremendous amount of daily volume. It looks like every other coin, kind of an ABC that's happened in here. I'm not going to bring it on the channel because I'm not familiar with it. I appreciate the super chat, Miguel de Grit, but it just looks like everything else, like the same stuff we've talked about with HBAR and all the other coins that have just kind of done the exact same thing. So nothing out of the ordinary for that altcoin. As a reminder, guys, this is kind of what happens if there's altcoin. I don't want you to waste your money. I don't want you to donate, wasting your money, praying that I pull up an altcoin on the channel to cover it based on a donation. So if you are considering it, I wonder if I donate $5 if BCB is going to pull my altcoin up in front of the whole audience and we can all talk about this one altcoin. It is not to be disrespectful to you. It is to be respectful to the whole audience that I likely don't cover it. So please save your money. I always appreciate the support, but I don't want you thinking that BCB is going to pull up this altcoin that I want him to look at. And if he doesn't do it, he screwed me. So just don't do the behavior, and you won't feel that I screwed you. So I love you. I don't want you I just don't want you to feel that I'm doing anything in particular to you. It's more of just like protecting the whole channel. So Miguel, thank you, Miguel de Groot. And then we have Miguel Ariano. Yo, BCB, longtime lurker from 2020. Thanks for everything. Could you update us on what you see with Apple? Then hit us with that Tay Wednesday, my dude. Somebody told me I have to be careful with that Tay thing. Did somebody get in trouble for the Drake thing? But see, the deal is that thing went like super viral, right? I don't know. Let me see. Apple, right? So we'll cover Apple because it's one of the biggest boys of the stock market, right? One, it hasn't set a high, but dang, it's all the way back up there again. What is going on, Apple? Madness. It's definitely a unique chart in there. To go beyond the fibs twice, 3 times. Sloppy range. I mean, it's most definitely a bubble, right? I mean, you don't have to. Let's put it on the monthly time frame. Gosh, oh, that's a hard one, man. You would have thought like just getting rejected out here at one point would be enough, or at least like teetering along in here. But you know, whether or not it's going to be one of these types of things too, like we see with Bitcoin, and then they pull down. Right? Is that why it's hard to identify at its current position right now? Because it's something along the lines of sorry, we're going to get it. We're going to get it. Just sloppy, man. Let's go to Ethereum. So you see how it kind of rolls up in here, and it kind of rolls up. Then there's a fall above all retracements, but pulls back, but then just sets the high and then goes crumbling. That would be my best guess on Apple. And just there's nothing like simple about this. This is very complicated. For me, I couldn't touch this. It's really top heavy. I don't know. That's when I would say I don't know. I have a hard time even like having a conviction guess. My thoughts are it has to be near the top. It just has to be. But structurally, what is it making in here? You see it falling off for the first time here since the great financial crisis, right? So just from underlying strength since the great financial crisis, here's 2010, here's all the way to 2021. It's lost it for the first time. So all that strength, all these years, it's gone. So something's definitely going on up here. But what that topping structure is, it's not clear to me yet. And maybe in the coming months or year, it'll become more obvious as to why it was difficult. But as of right now, we're not quite sure on Apple. But thank you, Miguel. Kinnear Frame says, long-time lurker, thoughts on Microsoft? Just passed the 702 on one day, looking for a pullback. Look at Microsoft too. Microsoft's a big part of the stock market. Is it still? Do I still have my stuff on here? I do have it on there. Seriously, guys, this like when it happened, I knew it. 9:07 a.m. Eastern Time, January 10th, 2022. Kramer says on CNBC that he sold Microsoft. Price was $229. I knew it. I knew something smelled right. You can tell it when Jim Cramer's doing that crap. If you think he's the worst trader of all time, you're the worst trader of all time. He's playing people. That's his job. Yeah, so you're back at retracements. Now it's just to see how's it reacting here. You have resistances in here for sure. Lots of resistances in here. There's absolutely nothing broken out about this. But, you know, seeing how it reacts for further. If anything, if you're looking for, like, if you care about this thing in general, which I don't know, I don't really. You know, you're at a third range boundary. The only play here is to sell, right? If you're a day trader, there's no buying here. The only play is selling and placing stops. So you sell and then you stop here to say, all right, I have to get back in if we get above all fibs. There's definitely no buying here to just hope that it breaks up. That's not how day trading works. And then waiting for pullbacks to happen down in here, and then stops at new lows, hoping for another range boundary to come in here. But as of right here, it's all about selling, short selling, and with stop losses up higher. Absolutely no buying. No professional trader would be buying right here. But thank you, Kinnear Framio. Sorry, man. Eric Martinson, 5 gifts, man. Oh, Eric. Thank you, sir. Consumer to blockchain solutions. Could Ripple cells being public be the narrative to send XRP to the low 30s? I don't know what the narrative will be. What if Ripple loses? What would you do, man? This is the thing I keep trying to tell everybody. Everybody's got their hearts set on Ripple just having a sweeping victory of this thing. This makes it pretty clear it's not going to be a sweeping victory for Ripple. That we're going to get a mixed ruling in the end. What will people do? If that happens right here, right? Let's take that off the screen. Let's take that off the screen. Right? What will people do if we get back here and boom, Ripple loses? Trend line broken, bear flag, doom town. Anybody got a plan for that circumstance? Like, what's the worst case thing? I say worst case is like Ripple is like totally found to have been selling unregistered securities even up until now, until 2023, right? And that the judge won't rule on XRP, and that she's going to leave the XRP secondary sales to be determined by a jury, and it'll have to go to a jury trial. And this is what the price does in that moment. What would you do? Yeah, we don't know what will happen next, but everybody's going to have to make their own determination on what they're going to do in that circumstance. Ripple loses, Ripple gets crushed, destroyed, and they won't rule on secondary sales, and secondary sales is going to have to go to jury trial, and that's going to take a year or two. And that happens. What are you doing? I personally will be buying. I will be a dingus. So, your question was about, could Ripple cells being public be the narrative to send XRP to the low 30s? I know a lot of people do live in denial that that's what Ripple does. They don't realize Ripple's primary business model is to sell XRP. The thing is, people have been in denial that Ripple has sold it to institutions that at a discount, and then those institutions sell it to retail. That's at least what we're getting implied from here, and that's been the implied narrative since the start of this lawsuit. So that's not really news, consumer to blockchain solutions. That's what Ripple has always done. I do get it. There's a lot of content out there, content creators that paints this glorious picture of Ripple, and maybe Ripple will do glorious things. But the kind of the hidden side of it all has always been that Ripple sells a tremendous amount of XRP, and it's their primary revenue. And we're going to find those numbers out pretty soon. So just kind of, it's not news, really. So you say, will Ripple sales being public be the narrative to send XRP to the low 30s? The only people who don't know it are the people who kind of live in denial. That's what it is. But thank you, sir. JBS, thank you so much. Says, hey, BCB, huge fan here. Could you take a quick look at talking about the token? See, it's the altcoin thing, man. Oh, that's what I said, don't. And then you were like generous, but I still can't. Okay, first of all, the chart, I can't pull it up, dude, because I'm just not familiar with it, man. And you were very generous. I appreciate the super chat, but there's not a certain price level that I could be sold out on a coin if I'm not familiar with it. Let me look at the volume, the daily volume here. Daily volume super low on Coinbase, right? So the daily volume of yesterday was about $140,000 total in the entire day. Today so far, total daily volume about $25,000 on Coinbase for the whole day. It's pretty low volume compared to what we see over here in crypto. If you're looking at that from like a Wyckoff accumulation standpoint, it's backtesting spring phase right now. This should be a technical support level, also with it also taking out that low from back there on Friday, March 10th. So it looks like a good technical support level, but at the same time, this is a worry of mine right here for Bitcoin on the screen, is that we're not done just yet. So like I've said, with like things like HBAR, XRP, things like I'm ready to like I've got capital ready to go. Like I'm ready to rock and roll, man. And I'm having to do this be patient game, which of course I never like doing. I'll rather just sit in there and take the torture, but I'm trying to be an adult here. And that I'm having to be patient right now. And it's not because the charts aren't okay. You got, and maybe we'll look back on this and say, dang it, all the signs were there. It was just this that was wrong. You got XRP over there on top of the support. You got HBAR doing the things that we were looking for. We got into the zone that I've been looking for us to finally get into this zone. We're here, but I'm over here worried about Bitcoin having a capitulative moment happening in here. That coin that you're asking about has no difference. And most coins look like this, guys. This is just what most of the market looks like right now. This should be a supportive zone. And if I could guess how these will play out, most of these will kind of do this for a little while. It's going to be kind of torturous, but my worry over here is this thing falling down, Bitcoin, and these going even lower. So I think the thing that I'm truly waiting on right now, and the thing I'm really like hoping to see come from the market, is that a lot of these altcoins can somehow just get a magical little pop out of nowhere that gives them a little bit of room to breathe in the event of a Bitcoin fall. So I think the coolest thing to see happen from here would just be like a bust out. And that goes for really all the coins, a lot of the coins and the ones that you're talking about. And that eventually that Bitcoin fall eventually comes and all it does is bring us right back in there a second time. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. In that circumstance, if we pull up and then we pull back into here while Bitcoin's pulling one of these bad boys, whoops, in here, I will feel a whole lot more comfortable to start YOLOing into the market. But I'm just kind of patient. I'm trying to be as patient as I possibly can right now. And I've done a pretty dang good job at it. But it definitely biting my nails wanting to do stuff. So, all right. Oh, you deleted it. No, you didn't delete it. JBS. Okay, got it. There we go. Thank you so much. Tokenomics, I don't know. You can pull that up on charts.cointrader.pro. So that's a website I always refer people to. It's free. Charts.cointrader.pro. Here. Charts.cointrader.pro. Go there, and you can pull up all that stuff over there on tokenomics. Just type in the coin you're looking for, and instead of clicking on like versus the dollar or the market cap, you click on supply, and then you can kind of do some measurement tools on it to see what has it done over the course of whatever time frame you want to look at it from. Abigail Converse, super chat, but also first super chat, but then the message was retracted. So I don't know, but thank you, Abigail. Ivan Castro says, do you think, I don't know what that is. Again, guys, what do you... Another coin. I don't know. He asked if a certain altcoin looks dead, and I've never heard of it before. So I will say, yes, it looks dead because I've never heard of it before, but I don't even know what this is, my dude. It has more volume on, wait, hold on. What's the daily volume on it? I mean, it doesn't have no volume. It's got some volume on it. So I don't know. I don't know. Thank you, Ivan. John Biddle. Lurker, coming out of the shadows after 2.5 years. I just wanted to send a thank you, BCB. You're a blessing for the community, and you deserve all the success you have. Cheers. John, thank you. That's always the coolest thing, man. Somebody that's been there for forever, never come out before, and then said, what's up? I don't know why I like that. I, of course, love my people who are here every day. You are part of my everyday life, and I appreciate you. But that's always a cool feeling that they're, and especially when I meet people in real life. That it felt like that every time. Every time I met somebody, like just like, hey, I've listened to you for forever, and I'm like, wow, just countless hours in my office, just talking into a microphone. And you're one of the people on the other end listening to me every day. And, you know, I'm just in my office with my monitors, and I somehow have developed the ability to just ramble my mouth for hours with nobody in this room. If somebody came walking by my window, they would just think I'm just some crazy guy who just talks to myself every day. But there are people on the other end, and it's always cool to see that in real life. Thank you, John. Digital Dunce. BCB, I did a vid years ago how XRP has only 6 decimals of drops, but Bitcoin has 8 of Satoshis. So XRP has far less supply compared to Bitcoin. Thoughts? No, it does not. It doesn't. That doesn't make any sense. There's 100 billion XRP. There's 21 million Bitcoin. So, you know, shift over how many more zeros there are on that other side, right? And all that is a division of 1. It doesn't change anything. Rodrigo, I don't know. You said BCB, you never showed us a chart about a play to earn crypto. I know, because I never talk about play to earn cryptos. Do you consider them dead? I don't know. Or like a recovery? I just don't know anything about play to earn. All right, back to it. Digital dots, I don't read into that. I mean, that's just math, right? We're just dropping by decimals. It doesn't increase. It doesn't make, just because you're dividing 1 by less doesn't make it suddenly more. 1 is 1, regardless of the number of decimal places there are in the 1. It's still just 1. GSML, BCB, your neutral and unbiased opinions are simply the best. When XRP hits your sell levels, what specific exchanges are you selling or converting on? That's one of those questions I don't usually answer. First of all, thank you for the kind words, GSML. But, you know, everybody needs to, here's the reason why. You could, as you know, I've never had exchange sponsorships on the channel. I've never had exchange affiliate links on the channel. I've been around this block long enough, and I've told this story too, that I got very close to having affiliate links and wanting to do a sponsorship with FTX. FTX had one that looked the most legit. It was the first time ever I thought something was actually legit. But as you guys know, I still never did it, never promoted FTX, never had affiliate links for FTX, never provided recommendations for FTX, and personally, I've never even put $1 on FTX before. So, but being here long enough to see things like FTX collapse, to see things like Bittrex disappear, this is nothing new. In 2017 and 2018, we watched all the same stuff to where like people who were like using VPNs to get on Bitfinex, boom, they no longer could do it. People who are using Poloniex and Bittrex, boom, could no longer do it. Binance, boom, could no longer do it. Like in 2019 or it was either 2019 or 2020, you couldn't use it anymore. And you just watch exchanges come and go and collapse, and things that you think are trustworthy, like FTX, who has an FTX arena where the Miami Heat play at. They have their logo plastered over every single MLB umpire during the entire 2022 Major League Baseball season and during the World Series. Commercials, Tom Brady, the most legitimate looking thing in the world, it collapses on itself, right? And then people lose all their money on them. So it's always hard for me to say, I recommend you use this exchange. Is one, I'm not sponsored by any of them. And two, I know those risks exist out there. So you have to kind of like decide which ones you feel the most comfortable with. And there's lots of people out there who will tell you which one, they will tell you that recommendation. I do have mine. I do have my numbers that I'll go to. Or not my numbers that I'll go to. My exchanges that I'll go to. But I'm sure you know of them too. But yeah, the chat. Look at the chat in here. I bet they got names for you. They'll give them to you. So it's a personal preference, man. I'm sorry, I can't like recommend which ones. Just for my own safety, I'm not going to be talking about my own exchanges too. JJ Crypto, thank you, BCB. Your accuracy is insane, and your ability to stay humble is even more impressive. On behalf of the lurkers, we love you. Thank you, JJ. Appreciate it. Yeah, we crossed 702 likes. There we go. 708. All right, so where are we sitting at now? I just got through all the super chats, so I'm all caught up. Guys, thank you all so much. Looking over here at the crypto market, we're still mixed. Sitting in there mixed. What did I want on here? Let's go back to XRP real quick. Yep. See? There we go. Still just waddling around in here. I have a video coming out on XRP and the stuff that came out yesterday with this whole thing. This will be out hopefully within an hour. As for the U.S. stock market, Dow is up 97 points. Let's see what CNBC's got to say. They said rises on debt ceiling hopes. Dow rises on debt ceiling deal hopes. Whoop, whoop. We had to get rid of the 100 because we're only at 98 now, right? So they have to keep modifying that. That'll be throughout the rest of the week. McCarthy is confident the U.S. won't default. McCarthy thinks the U.S. won't default. They're sure trying to convince us, aren't they? We'll see all about that. As for the economic calendar, not a whole lot going on today. We just had housing permits and we have crude oil inventories. Otherwise, with Bitcoin, just waddling around in here. XRP just waddling around in here, even though we're coming off of like an 8% pump yesterday. Still within range. Still is actually just a back test in here. So, yeah. We'll keep an eye on it. Otherwise, I think I am going to wrap this thing up as I can now go finish my video and get that published for you guys. And then we'll keep our eyes out to see if those Hinman documents end up coming out. So we'll see. Oh, frogs. One must do the frogs before we go. What do we do? All right, chat really fast. Do we do normal speed or 1.5x? I'm going to take the first 10 responses and work the average and see what it is. Normal speed or 1.5x? One normal, 1.5, 1.5, 2 high speed, half. Why is people doing half? 1.5 wins. 1.5 wins. Here we go. And let's get the volume like ridiculously loud. All right, guys.
It is Wednesday, my Dudes.
All right, there we go. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. It is Wednesday, my dudes. Coming off of some mixed news over there on XRP. Maybe we'll see those Hinman documents later today. Otherwise, it's a mixed day out there in crypto. Not a whole lot going on outside of what we've already been talking about. So we'll keep checking in on it. Again, I did post a newsletter over there on blockchainbacker.substack.com a couple of days ago. You guys can check all of that out. There's a link in the description of this live stream. Till the next time, guys, thank you so much for watching. Let's wrap this thing up. All right. If you're new to the channel, wait, no, I skipped the most important part. If you could, please like this live stream and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice, and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one, guys.